What is up, my people? Max with the Parlay Princes. We are here. I'm in, not my studio. I'm here helping out my beautiful mother. So I'm watching her place for a couple days, watching her dog. So I got no studio set up for today, and I'm sick. So you guys are blessed. I created this out of fucking nothing. We're here to talk about UFC 308 'cause it's a beautiful fight. Stylistic matchup is insane. Max, the Blessed Express Holloway, and Ilia, the Matador Topuria. We're going to go over this fight. We're going to go over what we saw in their last fights, as well as, I have a little sheet here, stats, records, experience, last 5 fights, power, speed, their mental, and the MMA package that each have to offer. So we will dive in real quick. Guys, like, subscribe, comment. I definitely appreciate that. I'm new to YouTube. I've had this page for a year, but I just started going crazy a month ago. So we made it this far. Fuck it. Here we go. No cuts at all. I'm not taking jack shit out. So first we're going to talk about their stats. And I believe stats, I was referring to just their overall quick tail of the tape look on ESPN. So going over height, weight, all that stuff. 4 inches of height for Holloway, which is interesting. We've seen Topuria fight someone a little bit taller than him in Jai Herbert. And unfortunately, Holloway seems to struggle with them smaller opponents. He fought someone in Gaethje that was 5'11". His last fight did absolutely fine. But then when he goes and he fights Volkanovski, he can never get it done. Granted, Volkanovski is a very different fighter than Gaethje. It's not just the height, but something to think about. I wonder if the height difference here plays a factor in either side. We just saw Max come down from 155. He's usually a 145, or it came down to 155. So that's something to think about too. As you're watching this Gaethje fight, you have to understand you're watching a 155 Max Holloway. I guess that's why technically he looked a little bit slower to me. Just watching that first round back, it wasn't the fucking speed demon that I'm used to, but that's okay. Here we go. Age. There's a 5-year age gap, which doesn't bother me too much because your prime is around like 29 to 31. So these guys are right in that ballpark. We got Topuria at age 27, like technically right before his prime. And Holloway's tiny bit after his prime, but still kind of in it. So 27 and 32. The reach is the same. They're both orthodox fighters. It gets a little interesting here. Significant strikes landed per minute. We got 4.4 for Topuria and 7.17 for Max Holloway. So he's landing at about 3 more significant strikes per minute, which makes sense. He's more of the pitter-patter, get the points, rack them up, do damage when you can. As where Topuria is really just trying to cause damage at every single second of the fight. Which, again, stylistic matchup, it's insane. The accuracy is spot on. They're both at about 50% accuracy. The takedown advantage is huge for Topuria, 1.92 takedown average and only 0.25 for Holloway, but we already knew that. We're not going to see Holloway get a rear naked choke in this fight. You know, it's one of those. If anything, it's going to be Topuria, unfortunately. It is interesting too that Max is so loved in this sport, and Topuria is like the dark horse. Everyone's just still a little bitter about that Volkanovski KO, I guess. It happens, boys. Again, just like takedown average, submission average is great for Topuria, 1.28 and only 0.32 for Holloway. But again, we saw that coming a mile a fucking way. Records. One guy's undefeated. That is Topuria, 15-0, 26-7 for Holloway. So that is interesting. 15 professional MMA fights for Topuria. And we got 33 professional fights. So more than double for Holloway. It's a tough one because you want to say, okay, Holloway has more experience. But then you can also say Holloway has more damage. Fucked up. It's a fucked up world we live in. That goes to my next point, experience. Holloway definitely has more UFC experience, more MMA experience. Holloway's been in the UFC since 2012, boys. 12 years for Holloway. It's insane. And Topuria's been in the UFC for 4 years, and he's had 7 fights in 4 years. That's very good for Topuria. That's the kind of shit you want to see, my people. Let's see what's another good point we have. Last 5 fights. Let's dive in real quick. Let's see what we got. We're at Topuria right now, so we'll just talk about his. Again, not as impressive. Not as much UFC experience, so you wouldn't expect the record to be, or the fight name recognition to be as good as Holloway's. But we got Ryan Hall. If Topuria couldn't KO Ryan Hall in round 1, it was going to be a rough career. Thankfully, he got it done aggressively. Thank God Ryan Hall is out. I'm not even trying to dive into Ryan Hall. I just wanted to see when he got cut 3 years ago. Perfect, because I fucking hated that guy's style. Jai Herbert, we got the KO against Jai Herbert for Topuria, but we saw Topuria get dropped in that. The issue, I don't see Max Holloway mixing it up like that where you can just, sneak in a nice little head kick in there. So, is that nice that we saw Topuria's chin get checked? Yes. Do I see Holloway checking his chin? Not really. I got to be honest, guys. We beat Bryce Mitchell, got the submission. Very good. Bryce Mitchell is a submission demon, so that just shows Topuria's ground game. Emmett, unanimous decision. That shows that Topuria can survive a fucking bulldozer for 25 minutes. And then he did what Holloway couldn't do in 75 minutes. He got it done in about 6.5 minutes. More than that. 8.5 minutes. He got the KO against Volkanovski. If you watch it in slow motion, the setup is insane. Just working the body. There's even one point where just in absolute slowest of the slow motion, you can see Volk just protecting his chin and Topuria just smacking that hand down and then fucking clipping him. I keep forgetting my camera's down here and not here up here. I'm fucking shot, boys. So those are the last 5 for Topuria. Again, not the most impressive, but 4 out of 5 of those were finishes. The only person he didn't finish was Josh Emmett, which does make sense. And then we got Holloway's last 5. Yair Rodriguez, great opponent. Volkanovski, great opponent. Couldn't get it done, but still went the distance. Arnold Allen, that was a great win for Holloway. We got the Korean Zombie, aggressive KO. And then we got the KO against Gaethje in round 5. So, stock report on those fighters. Yeah, Holloway's definitely fought the better in the last 5. Definitely fought the better in the last 10. But again, you do have to consider that means he is taking a little bit more damage because he's fighting some better competition. Power. So power definitely is on the side of Topuria. Like I said, every shot is to end the fight. He throws, not from the hip, obviously, but he's throwing a baseball in there. As where Holloway is definitely more of, I'm trying to land 150 significant strikes this fight and just dust your face up that way. Topuria is like, let me dust your face up with this one right hook. So, big difference between power and speed. The next point is speed, and I just said that. Holloway does have the speed advantage. I didn't see it as much in his last fight against Gaethje. He had more speed against Gaethje, but looking at Topuria and Volk, and then looking at Holloway and Gaethje, I felt like Topuria was still faster than Holloway in that fight. If you compare Topuria and Holloway, in their last 2, I feel like Topuria was faster. I really do. I think there's times where Max looked a little bit sloppy in his Gaethje fight, where it's going to really set some shit up for Topuria. We saw a lot of leg kicks from Volkanovski against Topuria too. He was working the legs very good. And I kind of see that hurting Holloway here. It looks like Topuria is just waiting to counter for those leg kicks. You want to throw a leg kick? Perfect. I'm coming upstairs aggressively. That's kind of what it seems like to me basing off the last fights. Anything else I can think of that I saw? The Holloway Gaethje, Gaethje after the first round was basically a wounded animal. Does that help anybody? Absolutely not. And Volk did look good in his first round against Topuria, so he was throwing a lot more volume. I guess, yeah, we'll talk about this real quick. It was interesting how Holloway wasn't circling at all against Gaethje. Holloway was doing a great job of just, not even a great job, he was just doing his job of staying in the center, not wasting too much energy, staying put, attacking when you can. As where Volk just kept on circling, movement, and you kind of need that for Topuria. I don't think you can just stand right in the middle with Topuria. You know, granted, Holloway's counters might be pretty quick, but I'm just scared for the power and the speed I saw from Topuria in Volk's fight. As I'm talking to my chat in the live stream, I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards liking Holloway in this, but you know, just after evaluating everything that I just spoke about, I still kind of have to go Topuria. I feel bad about it. Do I want Topuria to win? No, but I have to bet on what I believe here. And then next, you know, last point, we'll kind of go into the mental of both these guys. It's fucking tough. It's tough. We got Topuria super confident. He's saying, come and stand and bang the first 10 seconds. Let's see what happens. Is he trying to bait Holloway? 100%. Will Holloway fall for that? No. But you can see just the confidence level in Topuria is insane. They're doing the face-to-face interactions via Zoom, Skype, FaceTime, whatever it is. And Holloway's just got nothing for Topuria, and I'm scared that that translates into the fight. Topuria is super confident, guys. Topuria is super confident. So is Holloway, but just based off like body language, I'm just siding with Topuria even when they do the fucking face-to-face shit. So it's a rough one for Holloway. Definitely an uphill battle. Again, it's hard to base it off their last fights because one guy was fighting at 155. And Gaethje isn't Volk. You know, Volk is like that guy, you know, very well-rounded MMA fighter. So is Gaethje, but you guys know what I'm saying here. This is Volk, the legend, the bulldozer, and this is Gaethje, the guy that has great uppercuts and has grit, you know? So that's really my breakdown, guys. I'm not going to dive in and just fucking go over, oh, look at this. Look at timestamp 6.2 when he threw the, like, if you want to see that shit, the Weasel. The Weasel will have that information for you. He'll break down every single millisecond of the fight and screenshot it. I ain't doing that. You guys can watch both the fights free on YouTube, too. Just watch the first 2 rounds of each fight, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. And, yeah, just the last point, I guess. MMA package, you got to give it to Topuria. He's got the ground game submissions, got the boxing. As where we know Holloway is just a crisp boxing, really. He's going to throw in the leg kicks when he can. But we are not going to see Holloway shoot a takedown. Over 1.5 takedowns for Holloway. Bet your life on under. That's it, boys. Let me know what you think below. Again, I hate to say it. I'm leaning towards Topuria. He reminds me of, if you've seen Talladega Nights, he reminds me of like the French driver. That's just like the fucking enemy of Will Ferrell. That is Topuria. And I guess Volkanovski is Will Ferrell, unfortunately. That's it, boys. That's it. We survived. I actually feel less sick now somehow, so thank you. We'll be back for more content this week. Huge fight week. I'm going to be live again tomorrow, and that is it. Check me out. Instagram, TikTok at Parlay Princes. Like, comment, subscribe. Gang shit, no lame shit.